In this video, I gathered 11 of the most popular clients and programs for FPS boosting in Minecraft, and we put them into a tier list to find out what program or client has the highest performance in Minecraft, to find out what client is the best for FPS. This is the ultimate FPS boosting test. It's been a while since I've created a tier list video, so if you guys would like to see me create another one, let's go for 3,000 likes. Oh, and comment down below your prediction. I'm very interested to know what client you think provides the best FPS for Minecraft. But before we get into this video, I also want to let you know I'm going to be giving away 2 of my SuchSpeed animated flame capes. All you guys have to do to enter is simply like this video, comment your IGN down below. You must be subscribed and you must follow me on Instagram. The giveaway winner from the last video is on the screen right now. Merry Christmas, everybody. And if you haven't already, make sure to join my Discord server so you don't miss out on any future video. Let's get into the ultimate FPS boost test. Welcome to the ultimate FPS boost test. Now, before we get into the FPS boost tier list, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone showing support. I'm actually feeling a lot better, which is why I'm recording today's video. But I hope you all had a very good Christmas and you got everything you wanted. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then happy holidays. It's currently Boxing Day today, and we're going to jump straight into this tier list. Now, if you guys have never seen a SuchSpeed tier list before, how I do things over here is we're going to start off with tier F and work our way all the way up to tier A. Now, conveniently, I've been ranking these clients and programs purely based on performance in UHC Deathmatch. Conveniently, I've used every single client in this list in UHC Deathmatch in the past because, as you guys know, I love UHC Deathmatch. Now, to start things off, we're going to be starting with tier F. Now, a lot of you are going to be very surprised immediately by finding out there is no client or program that made it into tier F for the very first time. Instead, if you'd like to picture Skeppy creating his own client or something, that could be seen in tier F. However, I haven't included anything specifically, so for the first time ever, tier F is left completely blank. Now let's move on to the next tier. So the next tier is E. Now in tier E is a few veteran clients. Now the first client in tier E is Optifine. Now if you guys don't know what Optifine is, then you've been living under a rock for your whole life, and if you never used Optifine on your gaming laptop when you played Minecraft 5 years ago, then I have no idea how you managed to run Minecraft, because Optifine is what I use to actually get any kind of good FPS in Minecraft. To my knowledge, it was the first ever upgrading performance mod or version that you could use for Minecraft and actually get some really good FPS. Optifine also includes a ton of cool features, like the option to zoom in and out was first created in Optifine. In terms of FPS, I get around 200 to 300 FPS on Optifine. I decided not to include a screenshot test because everyone's used Optifine before, and I'm sure you're all very aware of what kind of FPS it can supply, but typically you should expect a 100 to 200 FPS increase compared to other clients, compared to playing Minecraft regular. Now, the second client I've decided to include in tier E is Minecraft Forge. Now, interestingly, Forge can be used for all manner of things, but I'm sure, as many of you know, Forge before clients was the real way to group mods together and even had its own FPS boost mods included within it. Forge is very similar to Optifine in the sense that it's simply a way that you can play Minecraft through the installer, through having your own mods and even getting some kind of FPS improvement. Typically on Forge, I'm getting between, as I said, 200 to 300 FPS depending on the kind of mods that I include. However, Optifine and Forge are both 2 very old mods, and they deserve respect because before clients, they were the only real way that you could play Minecraft without having your PC sound like it was taking off the space. I don't know if you guys remember, but for me personally, Minecraft was very difficult to run back in the day. It wasn't just something that you could easily run. We're about to go straight into tier D, but I really want to kill this penguin first. Stay away from me. Okay, we've actually managed to heal up. I don't know how we did that, but let's get ourselves some armor. I also wanted to note, Hypixel is extremely laggy today, and this guy said, wasted all my heals on other fights, you garbo. I've also disguised in line with today's video. I'm called FPS Boost. And anyway, let's kill this guy here. G to the G, my friend. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. He did not seem very impressed, but FPS Boost won the duel. Next up on the FPS Boost tier list is tier D, which features several clients that you have likely heard about or even used yourself in the past. Now, getting things started on tier D is the first client, which is the Sawyer client, otherwise known as the free Minecraft client or cracked Minecraft experience. Users using this client are typically playing Minecraft on a rather free experience, you know, not really paying paying for the game, as you can connect through a cracked account on this client, and I believe that's the first ever client that actually provides this service of, you know, actually using mods and not even having to connect to an actual Minecraft account. I would highly recommend against using this client unless you have no other way of playing Minecraft on an FPS boost tier, as it's not necessarily something that's allowed on every server. However, when I was using this client myself, I was getting between 300 to 500 FPS on average, and it was providing a very strong FPS boost increase. I think it was around 360 FPS in the screenshot, between 300 to 400. The next client up on this tier is MWSoft program. Now, if you guys have heard of MWSoft program, it's very different to any other client or program in this tier list because it's not necessarily a client that is designed for Minecraft. However, does provide a very good FPS boost if you are looking for that within Minecraft. And you can also use this program to clear your PC and other things. However, this is a program that you need to pay for, so keep that in mind. This isn't a free program like all of the others in this list, and it's not necessarily something that you really need. However, it does clean your PC, and I made a video using this client in the past. Using this client, I was getting on average between a 300 to 400 FPS boost increase. However, keep in mind you also need to use an actual client when you're using this FPS boost. The last client I included on tier D is the Hypixel client. Now, if you guys can remember the Hypixel client, this client isn't actually in service anymore, meaning they do not update this client anymore, and it's something that I believe the developers just stopped working on. However, when I was using this client, I was very surprised with the FPS boost that I was getting for the time of its creation, on average between 300 to 400 FPS, but more so on the lower side of 300. I believe it was around 320 FPS on average. This is a client that is very easy to use, and keep in mind it's no longer in operation, so they don't really have any new mods included in this client. It's more so just old mods that you wouldn't really think to use anymore. I also again want to apologize for Hypixel's lag. I've even tried connecting through the non-laggy proxy. However, it just seems like Hypixel is filled with a bunch of Christmas noobs, kind of like Call of Duty. Although I don't know, because there's like 85,000 players on, which Hypixel normally handles. However, today, as you can see, it is just ridiculously laggy, and that is why we are playing UHC Deathmatch and not Skywars right now, for everyone wondering. All right, here we go. We've got this guy finally, I hope. This guy popped another head. How many heads does this guy want? All right, we got him. There we go. We finally got that guy. Oh my god. Now let's move on to tier C. Next up on the FPS Boost tier list is tier C, which features two of my favorite clients, not necessarily for FPS. However, getting things started on this tier list is the PvP Lounge client, which a lot of you are probably quite surprised about because it's a very popular client and possibly one of the community's favorites for PvP. Now, using the PvP Lounge client, I get on average between 400 to 500 FPS, but on the lower side of 400. I would recommend this client to users who want a very clean experience when PvPing. It supplies some great FPS. However, more importantly, it's mainly used for the kind of PvP mods that you can expect to use on this client. As you can see in the name, it really provides a good experience for users who want to play Minecraft, but mainly focusing on PvP and related mods. Players who are likely using this client, who are mainly using it for PvP performance, and can expect a very clean experience in terms of PvP. However, compared to some other clients, it doesn't really fall into the top 5 for Minecraft FPS at all, which is very surprising. Now, moving on to the next client in the tier C is a client that some of you may have not heard of before, called the Bat client. Now, this client is mainly used for very simple Hypixel related PvP mods and isn't necessarily used by a lot of players. However, I haven't used this client in a very long time, and a good thing to note about this client is that it doesn't actually have an active development team upgrading the client. I believe it was community built a very long time ago, and to my knowledge, they don't have a new version of the Bat mod. However, you can go ahead and do your research if you'd like to try out the client. On Bat mod, I was getting a stable 300 to 400 FPS boost, but on average the lower side of 400 from my knowledge. And again, it's definitely not optimized for the latest versions of Minecraft, so keep that in mind, just like most other clients. I have no idea how Hypixel is so laggy, to be completely honest with you, but I'm pretty sure this guy thinks I'm like hacking or something. I don't know. This guy said nice hits to me. Do you guys think they're nice hits? Let me know in the comments down below. It's game. It should be game. Oh my god, Hypixel saved him. Do you have a spare helmet is the question. Probably doesn't. He's probably dead. It's been real, brother. There we go. We won. Finally. Oh my lord, that took way too long. Next up on the tier list is tier B, and I've decided to go into UHC duels because everything else on Hypixel is so laggy, including duels. I mean, just look at this. But getting things started on tier B is the Blazing Pack client. Now, I recently uploaded a video using this client, and I was blown away by the FPS boost increase I was getting on Blazing Pack. Now, I do want to say this is known as a bit of an illegal client, as I most notably used in my video, but I was very impressed by the performance on on BlazingPack. It's a Polish client, keep in mind, but I was getting around a nice 500 to 600 FPS on average. Now with this client, it doesn't actually include a section like every other client where you can see your FPS consistently, but instead you have to press F3 to be able to do that all the time. Now I don't want to take anything away from BlazingPack. They do have several mods that can be considered used at your own risk, so I wouldn't recommend this client on Hypixel. However, it was a very nice client to use, and it includes very basic mods, however, some of which are very unique. Like, I haven't really seen the customization that BlazingPack provides on other clients, really. So I'd really recommend this client, especially if you're Polish. However, just be careful when you are using it. Now, next up on tier B is a client that a lot of people would consider possibly the largest. I mean, it definitely is the largest client. I wouldn't say it provides the best FPS, but you've heard of it. I've made 1,000 videos on it. Tier B, the second client on tier B is the Badline client. Now, recently, Badline client has actually improved a lot in terms of FPS. I mean, for a long time, it wasn't really providing any kind of FPS increase, and I think that's due to the way that the client is built. It's a very nice looking client, and in terms of the way it looks and the design of it, it's probably in my top 2, with Lunar being my first in terms of design. But Badline offers pretty much every mod you can think of. It's got the largest mod list, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But using the client, I actually get between a stable 4 to 600 FPS, but more so between 4 to 500. It really depends on the kind of mods I'm using and the texture pack, but on average for using the default pack, as I've been mentioning for all of these clients, it's around between 4 to 500. Now, I remember when Badline client was first announced, the FPS boost was terrible, and a lot of people mainly used it because it was just very easy to use. However, a lot of people have now lost trust in Badline and choose to use other clients. So guys, we've made it all the way up to tier A. Now, I've saved the tier A spot for 2 clients in specific. The first client being Lunar Client, which, as you guys know, I am a partner at Lunar Client. Now, I'm going to try and not give my biased opinion. However, I've been using a Lunar Client consistently. This is my main client to use when I'm playing on Minecraft 1.8 or whatever, and it honestly provides every mod I need. And to be honest with you, I've expected this client to be at the top. Now, when I'm using this client, I get anywhere between 5 to 700 FPS increase, depending on the kind of game mode I'm playing. In the screenshot, as you can see, I'm getting around 660 FPS, which, to be honest, is probably a greater average to kind of expect when you're using this client. However, it really depends on the kind of game mode you're playing. And the good thing about Lunar Client is that there's a lot of customization built into the client where you can change settings to either turn on or turn off FPS, and also a few other settings which will alter your FPS, like playing with better graphics, playing with chunk loading on smooth, and you can also have the optimization and change for the chunk loading and a few other key characteristics of Minecraft's rendering. It's no surprise Lunar Client has made its way to the top of this list. I've always seemed to include Lunar Client right at the top. Now, the second client on tier A may come as a bit of a shock to many of you, as it's a client that I didn't even expect to be included right at the top. However, when I take a further inspection into this client, I can understand why, and as many of you have probably heard of in the past, I've made many videos on it. The second client in tier A is LabyMod. Now, LabyMod is a German created client. However, it has English settings. You know, it's basically a universal client. It's not necessarily German, like it's not necessarily country specific like BlazingPack is with Poland. However, LabyMod is a very great client. It's something that I've been using for a very long time. It's a very old client, and I think it may be the actual first ever client created technically. Now, a very interesting thing to note about LabyMod is that it provided the highest FPS average compared to every client, actually beating Lunar Client with an average of 700 FPS in-game. I must admit, from using LabyMod, you can instantly tell the FPS performance is great with this client. They've done a great job with keeping the whole design of the client very Minecraft themed, and I think that's important, keeping the Minecraft art style within the client. It keeps a very organic look, and I always find myself using LabyMod specifically for the voice chat feature, which a lot of people in the community like to use. The great thing about Lunar and LabyMod is that they're both completely free, so you guys don't even have to pay for the highest FPS boosts in Minecraft. Those two are the final clients in tier A, LabyMod and Lunar Client, both beginning with L, weirdly enough. Well guys, that is the complete tier list, and I'll leave a link down below so you guys can recreate the tier list in whatever order you think is necessary. I am surprised by the ranking of the tier list. When I took a closer look though, I could instantly understand why. But I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. This should put an end to the question, what is the best FPS boost in Minecraft currently? At the top is obviously LabyMod and Lunar Client, and I think it's a very big battle between them both. Definitely gonna have to do a comparison video in the future, but I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.